welcome back to the video. I know everyone's having a great day. If you're new, welcome. My name is Jai. It's my channel. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Typical stuff for YouTubers say if you want to. I decided to just search up top 10, and this is the one that stuck out to me. Top 10 scary people who avoided prison. And I'm gonna put the channel description below, because I forgot. So I'm just curious. Let's do it.
It's scary to think that there are tons of criminals out there in the world that haven't been caught. They just roam the streets freely. Any second they could strike again. What's scarier in my opinion is when criminals are caught for horrendous crimes but then get released. In some cases, cold-blooded killers have been freed and now live among us. Chances are you will probably pass by one at some point in your life. So be careful. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan, and today I'm bringing you the top 10 scary people who avoided prison. Starting off this countdown, we have the Rainbow Maniac. The Rainbow Maniac was the name given to an unidentified killer who targeted and killed members of the gay community in Brazil. The killer is dubbed the Rainbow Maniac as a reference to the gay pride flag. From 2007 to 2008, this killer murdered 13 gay men. Each were found shot in the head. It's thought that the killer was using a dating app to meet up with the men and then kill them. On December 10th, 2008, retired state police sergeant Jero Francisco Franco was arrested for these crimes. But later, the jury declared him not guilty. So the killer is still out there somewhere. And our next spot, we have Anthony Montwheeler. After committing crimes, a lot of people try to plead insanity in hopes to avoid jail time. This is the defense that Anthony Montwheeler took. In 1997, Anthony faked being mentally ill after kidnapping his wife and son at gunpoint. He did this in order to avoid prison, and it worked. He was a patient at the Oregon State Hospital, a mental health facility, for nearly 20 years, all while faking insanity. But in 2016, he came forward saying that he wasn't mentally ill. He just wanted to avoid jail time. Montwheeler told the board, and I quote, "I had a choice. Either I go to prison or I could take an insanity plea and go to the hospital. And all I gotta do is make myself sound like I'm crazy, and that's the route I took. I've been using the system and I'm done." Well, they reviewed his case and found him no longer affected by a qualifying mental disease or defect, so they discharged him. Then a month later, he kidnapped and murdered his ex-wife. And again, instead of going to prison, he returned to the hospital for treatment. Like, really? Crazy. Are you kidding me? Moving on to number 8, we have Bible John. Bible John is the name given to an unidentified serial killer who operated between 1968 to 1969 in Scotland. Bible John is said to be responsible for the death of 3 women. Each of his victims were young brunette women who he met at the Barrowland Ballroom. He was called Bible John since he would repeatedly quote the Bible. John was described as a tall, slim, well-dressed man with red hair between the age of 25 to 30. Apparently, when he meets his victims, John introduces himself as John Templeton or Sempleton or Emerson, one of those last names. The perpetrator has never been identified, and the case remains one of the most extensive manhunts in Scottish criminal history. Making our way down the list, number 7, we have Isaac Turnbach. In 2002, Isaac shot and killed 24-year-old Declan Lyons outside of his workplace. A couple months later, Isaac turned himself into the police and confessed his guilt. He claimed that Declan posed a threat to him, but police found no evidence to suggest this. This contributed to their difficulty finding a clear motive. The lack of motive, combined with his defense arguing that he was mentally unstable, led to the verdict of not guilty, and he was released. But 7 years later, Isaac formally turned himself in, saying that he was guilty. But he got away with the murder due to the Fifth Amendment's double jeopardy clause. They literally couldn't do anything, so he got away with it. In our 6th spot, we have Ronald Evans and Michael Nitz. In 1982, Ronald Evans and his stepson, Michael Nitz, got into a racially motivated fight with a man named Vincent Chin. Apparently, the two were mad that Japanese manufacturers were stealing their jobs. But they didn't know that Chin was Chinese, not Japanese. After getting into a heated argument, the two grabbed a baseball bat from their car and beat Vincent to death. They were originally charged with second-degree murder, but the charge was reduced to third-degree murder. The judge gave the two 3 years of probation, a $3,000 fine, and $780 in court costs.
They killed somebody.
Nothing. Some people get a heavier sentence for DUIs. It's so sad. They literally took a man's life and got away so easily. We're now at our fifth and halfway mark with Edward Muybridge. In 1874, photographer Edward Muybridge discovered that his wife was having an affair, and so he decided to take matters into his own hands. He tracked the man down and shot him right in the heart. Before doing so, he said, "Here's the answer to the letter you sent my wife." When the case went to court, the jury said that his actions were justified. That's right, they all thought that he had every right to take this man's life. So in this case, a photographer shot someone, literally. In our fourth spot, we have George Zimmerman. I'm sure a lot of you remember this case, because I certainly do. It received a lot of media attention. On February 26, 2012, in Sanford, Florida, George Zimmerman fatally shot a 17-year-old African-American teen, Trayvon Martin. Zimmerman was the neighborhood watch guy for his gated community, and he saw Trayvon out walking the streets and claimed he looked suspicious. He said that he had his hand on his waistband and was checking out the houses in the neighborhood. Well, he confronted Trayvon, they got in an argument, and Zimmerman shot him. He pleaded self-defense, and after a long trial, he was declared not guilty. But it doesn't stop there. After the trial, he got in trouble with the law multiple other times. In 2013, he was charged with felony assault after pointing his shotgun at his girlfriend. She claims that he broke a table with the gun and then pointed the gun at her for a minute, as if he contemplated killing her. Then in 2015, he was arrested on suspicion of domestic violence after throwing a wine bottle at a different girlfriend. Somehow, he has been able to escape all charges ever placed against him. That's crazy. Every single charge, nothing. Coming in at number 3, we have Marie Delphine LaLaurie. Marie Delphine LaLaurie was a very famous criminal. Back in the 1800s, she was a socialite who lived in a mansion and had multiple slaves. But sadly, she tortured and murdered endless slaves in her mansion. This was revealed one night when a fire occurred in her mansion. When they searched her house, they found a number of slaves in her attic. These slaves had their eyes gouged out and their skin peeled off. One woman was found wrapped in intestines, and others had holes in their skulls. Apparently, she would use wooden spoons to stir their brains. After the discovery, she fled and was never seen again. In our second spot, we have Vince Lee. Vince Lee was responsible for a horrific attack that occurred on a Greyhound bus in Manitoba, Canada on July 30th, 2008. While on the bus that was headed from Edmonton to Winnipeg, Vince pulled out a large knife and began stabbing a sleeping passenger, Tim McLean. He stabbed him in the neck and chest before beheading him. He then took the head and displayed it for all the passengers to see. He then proceeded to eat his flesh and body parts. Apparently, he heard God's voice in his head telling him to commit this crime. Vince was found not criminally responsible for the murder due to his untreated schizophrenia. So instead of going to prison, he was sent to a mental health care center. And in our number 1 spot, we have Gable Toasty. This is one of the cases that will get you riled up. Back in 2014, Gable went on a Tinder date with Warina Wright. The two had some drinks before heading back to his apartment. Just after midnight, for some reason, Gable decided to record the two's conversations. A couple of hours later, Wright fell 14 floors to her death. It's thought that they got into a fight and he pushed her off his balcony. In fact, the audio recordings caught him saying things like, and I quote, "Lucky I haven't chucked you off my balcony, you goddamn psycho little b***. If you try and pull anything, I'll knock you out. I'll knock you the F out." Wright can be heard begging to go home and for him to let her go. He replied with, "I would, but you have been a bad girl." Then you can hear faint screams. With all this evidence, Gable was still found not guilty. Yeah, court ruled that Wright was so scared of Gable that she tried to climb down from his balcony and then fell to her death. Even if that's the case, it's still technically his fault. But his defense lawyers blamed it on her, saying that she was becoming erratic after several hours of drinking. So, yeah, after all that, Gable was just allowed to walk free. And that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our next video. Top 10 Bigfoot sightings caught on tape. Kiara Faye commented, if Bigfoot gets confirmed this year, I'm not going to be surprised. Honestly, just wait. It probably will happen. Honestly, with everything that's going on, probably gonna have Bigfoot, Siren Head, some other cryptid, just all be real. Maybe the Loch Ness Monster. He seems cool though. I like chicken nuggets commented. Oh, same. Okay. But for real, do you actually have a group? Because if you did, I would be happy to join your group. He's referring to my Bigfoot hunting group that I do not have, but maybe I should start one. Who's with me? Maybe we can go look for a Bigfoot together. Judith Haskell commented, there are never any pictures that are clear or close up. They are hazy and blurry. I know. It's like, do you guys have flip phones that you're taking the photos of Bigfoot with? Like, how come with today's modern technology, no one has like a big camera that they're taking to the woods that will capture a good photo of Bigfoot? I don't know. It baffles me. And that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya. Not guilty. So the kilter. We are now in our in 1874 photographer. He tracked the man. Sorry, my lips was sticky. In our #1 spot, we have Gable Toasty. I think it's Toasty. Toasty.
Alright, cool. So shout out to her though. Yeah, these especially the last one and the person who was imprisoned the slaves, and what else? Almost all of them, like, they're doing these horrible crimes. You say you knew evidence, but how much evidence can you find? And if this was a person of color, the roles would have been so reversed. It would have been 40 years, death penalty, this and that. Other people did worse things, and they get worse consequences. It just baffled me. They might as well just unleash all the mental institution, everybody in jail, if we're gonna play that game. It just baffles me. It's just horrible. So tell me guys what you think about this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys once again. Stay awesome, stay blessed, stay wonderful, and until next time, peace.